Guys, welcome back. Week 9's over with. Week 10's on the doorstep. More than halfway through the season now. We're starting to get a good look at the teams. Um, it's just another normal podcast. I'm trying to get better. It doesn't seem like it's getting better. I'm working on it, guys. I'm trying to bring more energy. It's hard being alone, though. But yeah, we got another one for you. I switched up the order a little bit. We'll start off with week 9. We'll go into Thursday night. And as I'm saying my picks for Thursday night, that'll move us into the week 10 bets. Not much else going on in other sports, so we're really just sticking to football this week. But I guess NBA's dropping a lot of city uniforms. Baseball, talks for Lindor's picking up. Nothing's going to happen soon, but keep an eye out on who's in the top 5, I guess you could say. The Mets, Steve Cohen has officially bought the Mets. If you're a Mets fan, I am happy for you. And he came out and said today or yesterday, if there's not a World Series in the next 5 years, it'll be a disappointment, which is good news for the Mets fans. They now have the richest owner in the MLB. They're gonna spend money, and they're gonna do what they can. That's about it for other sports. But yeah, let's get into the episode. Week 9 was an interesting week. Very exciting quarterback play, I gotta say. So let me just name some guys that played really good. Alex Smith, Jake Luton, Teddy Bridgewater, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Tua Tagovailoa, Kyler Murray, Joe Flacco, and Garrett Gilbert. Obviously, a few of these guys we've had our eye on for a while. Obviously Mahomes, Allen, Kyler, Herbert even. But Alex Smith had a great week. Kyle Allen got hurt earlier in the game. Alex Smith went in 24 and 32. He was 24 of 32 for 325 yards, a touchdown, and 3 interceptions. I know, obviously, 3 interceptions is a lot. I didn't get a chance to go back and look, see, whose fault they really were. But he had the touchdown, and he was also efficient. 24 of 32, and he had 325 passing yards. Terry McLaurin had 100 yards. They had another receiver get 100. Sad news is the Giants prevailed. They took the game 23-20. Next game, let's start Houston and Jacksonville. Gardner Minshew broke his finger, fractured his finger or something, so he was out. They start the rookie 6th-round pick, Jake Luton. He's from Oregon State. Guy's supposed to be, supposed to have a really big arm, kind of athletic. He was, it's a bad Houston Texans team, but he played good for, his first start as a rookie. He was 26 of 38 with 304 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Very similar to Alex Smith, minus interceptions. And they also couldn't get his first win. Houston won 27-25 in Jacksonville. Jags fans, I guess this is a good sign. You got, another quarterback that's got kind of potential, and you also lost. And we'll talk about that Jets loss later on, but you lost, helps you out in the draft positioning, right? Another guy who, Teddy Bridgewater is a franchise quarterback. I've been saying it since he was on the Saints, Obviously, I've said it when he's on Minnesota, but, he got hurt. Then he goes to the Saints, and I was like, watch, he's going to be good. Goes to Carolina, people are thinking, oh, he's just going to be a bridge quarterback for whoever they draft. They're not going to be very good. They're not going to be they're not really competing for, a title this year. They're rebuilding. They're not. Their defense is missing a lot of pieces. And they can fill out in free agency in the draft, but their offense is good. Teddy Bridgewater's good. They got 3 good receivers, and Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, and I can't think of the third guy's name. He's good, though. They have 3 good receivers, and then they got, obviously, Christian McCaffrey. Their O-line's not terrible. And then they got Teddy Bridgewater at the helm. Teddy Bridgewater is a good quarterback, and I think he's their franchise quarterback. I think Matt Rule likes him. I think he's doing good in Joe Brady's system, the one Joe Burrow thrived in LSU. And if Joe Brady, can maybe stay there another year, because obviously Brady's going to get a head coaching job somewhere. with for what he's done just with a young quarterbacks or new quarterbacks. But Bridgewater, he's the guy, and he played great. Unfortunately, he went against probably the best quarterback in the league in Patrick Mahomes. Bridgewater 310 yards, 2 touchdowns, but Carolina lost 31-33 in Kansas City. Now on the other side, Mahomes had 370 yards and 4 touchdowns. But I mean, overall, that was a very exciting game. I mean, Carolina had the lead at halftime, and then it was close the rest of the game. It was a good one. Carolina's not bad, and we'll get to that later on in the bets. Another guy who did good, Herbert. Obviously, they Chargers lost a heartbreaker. Threw a pass to the right corner of the end zone to the backup tight end. Initially ruled a touchdown with 1 second on the clock, and then, or no, the time was, there's 1 second before the play. Initially ruled a touchdown. They reviewed it, and it was incomplete. He dropped it. I mean, good call by the refs, but just if you're a Chargers fan, it's gotta suck. To think that Tua's he started 2 games and he has a better record. He has more wins and a better record than Justin Herbert. Now, last week against the Rams, or I guess 2 weeks ago, you could say, Tua didn't play good. I'm not blaming him. It's not his fault. It's just his first start. He's a rookie. He was coming off a big injury. He's a rookie. I mean, what else can you say? But this week he didn't do bad. He was efficient. He really worked that Cardinals defense, and he played a lot better this week. And it worked out. Miami got the win in Arizona, 34-31. Obviously, going against another young quarterback in Kyler and a potent offense, and he beat him out. And it's not Kyler's fault. Kyler played good. The Cardinals' main struggle right now is that defense. Isaiah Simmons isn't really, the guy they thought they drafted yet. He's still got a lot to learn. Obviously, the physical talents are there, but his defensive IQ and awareness is still developing. And then their secondary is just, I guess you could say their secondary is kind of getting thrashed because the pass rush isn't getting there. Hassan Reddick's playing better now that he's actually lined up on the D-line, pass rushing, but Cardinals still have some things to work on, but they have Kyler and Hopkins for the long haul. Kingsbury, I love what he's doing there. But yeah, and maybe, if Kenyon Drake comes back and gives the Cardinals more of a power run game that Chase Edmonds can't give them, they win that game. Another game it's weird for sure. Pittsburgh and Dallas. Going into this game, Pittsburgh was supposed to just destroy the Cowboys. Right, and rightfully so. I mean, the Cowboys are terrible this year. Pittsburgh is undefeated. They're the only undefeated team in the league. And obviously, these two teams have a lot of history together, but still, no one expected this game to be remotely close. And Dallas looked like they were going to win for a good amount of it. Pittsburgh ultimately took the game 24-19 in Dallas, but it was very interesting to watch. I mean, unless you're a Steelers fan. On the bright side for Dallas, Garrett Gilbert, he was either a late round pick or undrafted in the 2014 draft. He played at the University of Texas. He beats out Cooper Rush in practice. So he gets the nod for the starting job, and he impressed. And I have to say good job to their offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, a former quarterback himself. I like what they did. Obviously, McCarthy's not the guy, and I don't even think Kellen Moore's a head coach type of guy. But if they can get obviously they'll get Dak. They're signing Dak long term. If Zeke can stop sucking, I mean, the dude has been terrible. The O-line needs to, kind of get back into their groove. They have 3 good receivers, though. They got a decent enough tight end. If, they can fill the holes and mesh together on that defensive just the whole defense, I guess you could say, then Cowboys could be dangerous. I hate to say it, but if they get the right head coach, Cowboys could be dangerous. Another game, let's talk about a lot of people. I mean, this was Seattle and Buffalo. I don't really know what to say. Everyone had different thoughts going into the game. I was just excited to watch it. I didn't really know who was going to win. I felt like Seattle because Buffalo just hasn't been playing great lately. But Buffalo, they're at home. Seattle traveled, 3 hours ahead. I mean, Buffalo wins 44-34, and a big part of that was Josh Allen. I guess another big part of it was Seattle's defense. They're just horrible. But Josh Allen, he's back to playing MVP caliber football, just like he was the first few weeks of the season. And like I said last week, probably my favorite thing to watch is when the Bills are playing good football. It's so fun to watch, especially this season with Stephon Diggs. But just to watch Josh Allen and Diggs and, even if they can get the running game going. Last year was fun with Frank Gore. This year, we got to deal with Devin Singletary and Zach Moss. But you got John Brown still. Even Cole Beasley's catching stuff out the slot. It's a fun offense to watch. And then whenever their defense is putting it together, to see like a young Ed Oliver out there, Tremaine Edmonds, Poyer, Hyde. It's just Tre'Davious White. I mean, I could go on. They have a ton of talent. And whenever they play good football, it's fun, it's fast, it's exciting. I love to watch it. Let's talk about New England and the Jets before we talk about New Orleans and Tampa Bay. The New England Jets game this was the Monday game. I'm sure a lot of you probably didn't watch it because it wasn't supposed to be very fun. Wasn't supposed to be a good game. But if you're a football fan, I mean, I thought New England was going to blow them out. I thought, hey, New England's going to go in there. They know who the Jets are. They play them twice a year. They haven't really changed. Joe Flacco really just said, no, you're not coming in here. We're going to win a game. And the Jets were the better team until the second half of the fourth quarter, you could say. But the Patriots they moved on offense. They Cam Newton barely ran the ball. Like barely. And that's what they've been, leaning on all season. So I guess him throwing it was kind of like hey, we can throw it too. But just the Patriots defense is horrendous right now. Because of so many players opting out, especially this week, they're missing Stephon Gilmore and J.C. Jackson just he had a bad week. I don't know if it was just lack of preparation, but he had a bad week. I believe he's the third-year cornerback. They really like him up there in New England. And it's not like he was covering any top-tier receivers. Yeah, Perriman's got speed. That's about it, though. I mean, they didn't really have anyone else. Crowder wasn't even playing. And Joe Flacco he looked like he was playing in his Super Bowl MVP season again. He looked amazing. And it was weird to see that Gase actually didn't seem like a terrible coach. But yeah, ultimately the Jets had terrible coaching at the end of the fourth quarter. They could have just ran the ball, into the game. Get some first downs, but they could have ended the game and they decided to throw it, and then they throw it long and, interception and then turnover and they got a punt. It was a wild ending that New England shouldn't have won, and they did. And I guess good news for the Jets that they lost, and could turn out to be bad news for the Patriots. They're not out of the playoffs yet, but they're just they don't look like a good team at all. And now it is the Patriots. I know in the past everyone didn't want to doubt Tom Brady. I don't want to doubt Belichick. They could turn around. They could figure something out. I'm not going to doubt them, but they do not look good right now. And if they don't make the playoffs, this win is going to hurt them, obviously. But yeah, it was looking like it was going to be the Jets' first win, and that would have destroyed a ton of fans' hopes for Trevor Lawrence, because they would have been tied with Jacksonville for the worst record in the NFL. And that's what I saw earlier, is like, this is good news for Jacksonville that they lost. But hopefully, if you're a Jets fan, hopefully y'all keep sucking. I mean, it's good y'all didn't fire Adam Gase, I guess. I don't know. Let's move on. The game of the week, Sunday night, New Orleans, Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, obviously, they played week 1. They lost. Kind of expected, right? I mean, if you know football, expected loss week 1. Tampa Bay, no preseason, limited offseason, new quarterback, learning a new system. New pieces on the team, Fournette and Gronk. It is a lot that just needed to get together, And so they lost, and it was like, okay, expected, they'll get it together. And they did. They hadn't looked bad since that week 1. They had been playing great. Even Gronk he's back in it, He's had a touchdown the last 3 games. And then I haven't got to watch the coaches film, hasn't come out yet. But they were just terrible. The Buccaneers offense was horrible, and their defense was just as bad. And like I said, the Saints didn't play like great. It wasn't outstanding. They just they took what the Buccaneers gave them, and the Buccaneers gave them way too much. Saints ended up winning 38-3, and it was over. It was halfway through the second quarter. It was a terrible game for the Bucs, and I hate that because I love Bruce Arians. Antonio Brown played, though. He was a bright spot. He looked good, made a few good catches. I don't know what went wrong. I'll have to figure that out. Hopefully that coach's tape will come out before next week's episode. But yeah, that's about it for what happened week 9. Moving on, let's talk Thursday night football. We got the Colts. We got the Titans. They're in Tennessee. It's supposed to be a close game. It's a division game. I think it's going to be a good one. I'm excited. Tennessee's favored by 1 point. Over-under is 48.5. Here are my picks. I'll say right now. Here are my picks. Tennessee. I'm taking Tennessee with 1 point. And I'm going to take the over. I think, obviously Phillip Rivers hasn't got to, be in this rivalry yet. If you want to call it a rivalry, they're division guys, right? But he hasn't got to be in this rivalry. Tannehill hasn't really got to either, though. I think Titans try to run the ball. I think they do it successfully. And I think the Colts I think they sling that ball all over the field. I think Nyheim Hines has a big night. I think Jonathan Taylor, maybe gets a couple goal line touchdowns. I think Derrick Henry and A.J. Brown go off. I think it's going to be a good one. I think it's going to be, a gun show. I'm excited. It's a really important game for both teams. Tennessee hadn't been playing very good, and now they kind of got to get back on track. And the Colts lost a winnable game against a Ravens team that doesn't look very dangerous. Not as dangerous as they looked the past few seasons. But this is going to be a big game. The Colts, I don't think are in playoff contention right now. They're close. They're right on the border, but if the season ended today, I don't think they're in it. Obviously, the Titans are, as well as they're winning the division. But either of these teams could still win the division, and they could both easily make the playoffs, especially with the expanded postseason. They added one team, so I don't know. I think it's a big game. It's going to be exciting. That's my take on it. Like I said, I'm taking Tennessee -1, and I'm taking the over. Final score, 31-27, Tennessee, lock it in. Moving on, it's the moment we've all been waiting for, the Week 10 bets. Last week, I did terrible. I was 1 for 5. I lost both my top picks. On the season total, I'm 8-12. And with my top picks, I'm 4-3. Last week really killed me. Hopefully this week we're going to bounce back. I only have 6 picks for you this week, but 3 of them are top picks, all right? Let's start with the top picks this week. Maybe reverse the luck. I have Carolina. I'm taking Carolina 5.5 versus Tampa Bay. So Carolina's at home. Tampa Bay is coming off a terrible game. And Carolina's coming off a good game. I like Carolina. Like I talked about earlier, Bridgewater is the guy. And Carolina's not a bad team. They got a good coaching staff now. They're rolling. McCaffrey is out again, unfortunately. He got hurt last week. But Mike Davis isn't bad. He's playing a good backup role there. So I'm taking Carolina, and I'm taking the points. It's plus 5.5. Next game. I'm really just hoping this happens. I also do think it will, though. I'm taking Buffalo to beat Arizona. Looking at this, I know they're playing in Arizona. They're going back 2 hours. Arizona was favored to win this game, though, and I think that's a stretch, and I think it might change. So, if I was you, I'm taking Buffalo just to win, straight out, taking the money line, plus 123. And I think you got to do it and put your bets in now because I think this will flip. I think Buffalo will be favored at some point. But they just played a great game against Seattle. Arizona just played terrible defense against, a rookie quarterback and the Dolphins. Like I said, that's probably my favorite pick. I'm taking Buffalo. Next pick, another one that probably just like the Buffalo-Arizona game, it might get flipped. The Rams are favored against Seattle. I'm taking Seattle. I don't know why the Rams are favored, but I'll take the money line on Seattle. I don't think I've said it before, the Rams aren't a great team. They've beat the worst division. I mean, they could. They're just not a great team. Seattle is. Obviously, their defense in there, and I know the Rams are coming off a bye, but I'm taking Seattle at plus 106. So, again, Carolina, plus 5.5, taking the points. Buffalo, money line. Seattle, money line. I'm pretty confident about all of those. The rest of the picks, there's not a lot of great ones. I had to not really stretch, but just kind of convince myself to choose these. The first one, I'm taking Philadelphia money line against the Giants. Philadelphia is coming off a bye. Hopefully it gave them all a chance to rest up. We know how important that is for the Philadelphia Eagles. I think they'll win. And then another one, this is probably the one I'm stretching for. But Cleveland minus 3.5 versus the Texans. So they're at home, and the Houston can't stop the run. I'm pretty sure they have the worst run defense on a per-game average. Cleveland lost Odell, but they run the ball pretty good. Houston's not a good team. Cleveland's good. They're not great. They're not bad. They're good. I'm taking Cleveland with the points, 3.5. If you don't want to take them with the points, take a money line. Just the points gave me better odds. But yeah, 3.5. So it's a stretch, but I think they'll get out of there with maybe 10-point win. Last game, a lot of you are probably going to disagree, especially after what New Orleans just did to the Buccaneers. But I'm taking the 49ers plus 9 in New Orleans. I don't really have much to back this up, except for I'm not scared of the Saints. I've been saying it all year. They don't impress me. San Francisco has a great coaching staff. They do impress me. And I'm pretty sure San Francisco's coming off a bye. I don't remember exactly, but I think they're coming off a bye. I know they're traveling to New Orleans. It's not a big deal. I mean, I'm not saying they'll win, but I don't think they'll lose by 9. I think this could be a close game, maybe a 1 or 2 point game. So those are the picks. Philadelphia money line, Cleveland minus 3.5 or money line if you want, and then San Francisco plus 9. That's about it for this week's episode. I'll see y'all next week. Hopefully my picks can get back to being on top. But yeah, y'all have a good one.